Welcome to You Have 2 Minutes in association with OK Tshirt.
Welcome to the first episode of the new season of You Have 2 Minutes, and I'm delighted to be joined now by the Knockout Cup Championship winning captain and former Brummie, Simon Lambert. Simon, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Good evening, and thanks for having me.
First of all, I want to look back a little bit before we look at this year. Last season, a very good season for yourself and for your clubs as well. I know you started the season with Scunny, and it was probably one of your best seasons personally today.
Oh, mate, there's no possibly about it. You know, it was by far my best ever year. Um, on track, and yeah, you know, it's something. To be fair, my last 3 years have all progressed, and 35 in a few weeks, and it's like I'm getting better with age, really. So, you know, I was gonna give it a couple of years, maybe 4 years ago, but while I'm still going, you know, in the right direction, we can still keep competing and putting it out there. We'll keep going for sure. But yeah, last year was you know, it was a massive year for me, and thoroughly enjoyable one as well.
You found yourself in the unfortunate position, the same as last year, without a Premiership club again. You got the call to go to Kings Lynn last season, and now you're kind of being sort of punished for an awkward average. And I think everybody expected you to be back at Kings Lynn as well. What's your thoughts on
Good old British Speedway, you know.
that?
British Speedway with not many Brits in it, to be fair, isn't it? You know, listen, right, it's great. You know, you've got your Woofies, your Magics, you know, Emil Doyley, people like that. It's brilliant. You know, like it needs big names like that. And I'm not just saying this because obviously it got me a job, but I mean, obviously your reserves, they should be Brits. Simple as that. You know, because you know where's the kind of the pot of gold for these kids as such? Because what they're going to do, they get to National League, and then you know they've like effectively weakened the Premier League. So a lot of teams have now got like 2 point riders in it, which is good for them. And I hope a lot of them can take their opportunities and you know smash it out of the park this year. But the Rising Star scheme, is that really working? Like, no. Is it? There's only really one rider that's really progressed from that, and that's Tom Brennan. And fair play to him, you know. There's been glimpses from other riders, but it's nice to see this year a few of them have jumped out that wagon. You know, Jason Edwards, um, and who's the other one?
Jordan Jenkins.
Jordan Jenkins. That's it. You know, and fair play to him. You know, if you know, grab the bull by the horns and go for it. But yeah, you know, like I say, I didn't start the year last year with a top league spot as such. So you know, it is what it is. I know I lost 2 team places elsewhere because everybody assumed I was going to be back at Kings Lynn, but they're not alone. You know, I assumed I was going to be there as well. But hey, it's Speedway. I'm not going to sit here and call Kings Lynn. I'm not going to sit here and say this and say I'm a bit older, a bit wiser, a bit maturer now. But they'll ring me eventually. I'm sure of it, whether it's a guest booking or a permanent spot. You know, I'm no idiot. Obviously, if I'd gone in, that would have put the Patrick Woo or whatever his name is into the top five. And they're obviously a point or so under the limit anyway. So there'll be changes somewhere along the line, and other riders become available. But obviously, price tag goes up a little bit, doesn't it? You know, obviously, it's good when you're racing more regular. I mean, looking at my fixture list this year, it's not great really. It's 1 meet a week, 3 week break, I think July, and if you know, it's not going to happen because we're going to win everything this year at Scunny. But you know, if luck was against us and we didn't all perform to what we should do, season's done 9th of August and Speedway's March to October. So yeah, it's a big body blow. It's a bit of a body check, to be fair. When you know, but fair play to Rob. He said, "Look, mate, either way, I'll let you know." And he had the balls basically to ring me and say, "Look, I'm sorry, mate, you're not in." Fair enough. At that point, it was too late. I'd already missed 2 of the boats, but you know, at the end, like I say, at the end of the day, just got to carry on really from where I left off last year and do my talking on the track and make people think and you know, unfortunately, it's a sport where people get hurt, people, get injuries, people. Form is temporary, mate. Class is permanent. As simple as that. And any speedway rider is not useless or a dickhead. Basically, we're only human. People have good days at work. People have bad days at work. And but obviously, the more you ride, the fitter you are, the sharper you are. You don't have time to think. Well, if you have a bad meeting and you ride in the next day, I'm one that does all my own bike. So by the time you're sort of travelling home 3, 4, 5 hours, get home, get my lad to school, get the bike washed, chuck a bit of work in the equation as well, and load up and go again. You haven't got time to think about the night before, and that's always good. Whereas if you've got a week off, I don't care who you are, what you say, you're always thinking. When it's in your blood, you're always thinking. But yeah, something will come up, I'm sure.
You had the chance to captain world-class riders like Artem Laguta and Robert Lambert at Kings Lynn last year. Does that show faith in you, the fact that you got to skip as some of the biggest names in the sport?
Never actually thought of it that way, to be fair. Just it's a bit laughable. It's a bit ironic. It's a bit, I don't know really what the word is. Everybody will see it different. People will probably think when they hear this, I'm bitter about it. I'm really not, like I say. But personally, for me last year, when Kings Lynn rang me and offered me a deal, I actually thought they were ringing me to put me in a Peterborough because, I've always looked up to Rob Lyon. I've got a lot of time for the man, a lot of respect for him as well. And he's like the most knowledgeable bloke that's never ridden a speedway bike. I actually thought I was going to get put with him, but Buster said, no, it's for Kings Lynn. I said, okay, no worries. So, Peterborough had a lot of home meetings left, and most speedway riders tell you make your bread and butter at home meetings. But I looked at the fixtures and I thought about it, and I said, well, this is what I want. And we struck a deal fairly quick, and I got to race everywhere. And like I say, I got to race every track, and I should have won one at Wolverhampton, but Nick Morris didn't do me any favours in 8-9. But other than that, I think I won a race at every track. So I showed I could do it. I beat Bewley at Leicester. I was the only one to beat him all night. That wasn't a fluke. I beat Robert at Bellevue. Again, that wasn't a fluke. I proved I could mix it with the big boys. But more than anything, the fans took to me. Instead of, oh, bloody hell, we got Simon Lambert back. It's just a stopgap again, just to, just fill in the numbers. I actually won the fans over, and that was the biggest thing for me. And then when they, obviously, poor Nikolai got injured, Nikolai did a great job of being captain for the first few minutes till he got injured. I'll give him that. He was, he was a real team man, real good captain and that. But it was just tough because there's so many riders. One rider wanted the track super slick. Some of us wanted it mega grippy. He was like poor middleman. Like, do you know what I mean? There was no happy medium. And in the end, when he got injured and other changes were made, it was just the track was done how it is. That is what it is. Get on with it. And ironically, first meeting of the year, I go beat the new Kings in number 1. Well, there you go.
You touch on 2 tracks there, Wolverhampton and Peterborough. Both are now gone to the sport. Both quite iconic tracks as well. What's your thoughts on that as a rider? I know you've not always had the best of fortunes at Monmore, but you've certainly been a man to beat at Peterborough in the past.
Yeah, obviously I had some of my best, to be fair, until I joined Scunny in, 2019. I had my 4 probably best years at Peterborough in my career, and obviously that was in the Jed Rathbone era. He come and saved Peterborough and kept them going, and it was a great time for me. And yeah, obviously I grew up as a kid going to watch Peterborough, sat on my dad's shoulders at sort of 3, 4 year old, and my dad helped a lot of the boys there. It's always had a place in my heart. But and Monmore Green, obviously I never really scored that well there, but it was always so enjoyable to ride. I always said I'd be a much better rider if I'd been able to have a year there. It's a small track, and I know I'm a big track rider, but you adapt, you change, and I didn't get the opportunity, but hey, it is what it is. And yeah, obviously it's all these tracks just closing, when you sit and think, and just top of my head, last 10 years, you've had Kent, you've had Royhouse, you've had Lakeside, you've had Workington, you got Peterborough, you got Wolves, you got Swindon. Well, Newcastle. That's 8 off the top of my head. It's a sad state of affairs a little bit, really. But I don't know, mate. Hopefully they'll get some land and something will develop, and there'll be more trucks. I mean, I've not rid Workington yet, and I don't know if I should say this because I've not been announced yet, but I'm in the Ben Fund this year at Workington, and I'm looking forward to it. I've watched videos on Facebook, YouTube, things like that. So it looks wicked, good little track, and I think fair play to it, everybody whoever's involved with it, because I'm not saying it's not rocket science, but you get the right bit of land, look at what you can achieve, look at what you can build, and fair play to all of them now. I mean, obviously, I think Steve Lawson's had a big say on the track and all that. And ironic, actually, I watched the thing on TikTok earlier, Steve doing a few laps. Whether they were the first few laps, he still got it now. He'd still score points in the National League, bless him. But, it just shows what he's capable of. So, I wouldn't say Speedway's completely on the descent, but it's obviously we need it to be on the rise and on the up. But I get it's tough, and this is why I try and acknowledge all the fans the best I can, whether I'm a hero or a zero. Like I say, we're only human, but it's not a cheap sport now. The cost of living and the way the world is now, it's very tough. So, for me to sit there and have a picture with a little boy, a little girl, mum and dad, whatever, grandma, granddad, it doesn't matter. They want to chat, I'll have a chat, because without them, we wouldn't have a wage. Simple as that. So, yeah.
And that's where Speedway is really unique compared to any other sport, because fans can mingle. You're easily accessible to supporters as well through social media and stuff that you don't quite get. Is it important for you to have that fan interaction? Because if they're not coming and supporting, you're not getting paid, or a fan can make the difference sometimes, and their cheers and stuff.
Mate, when you got your helmet on, everybody's different. But I don't care what anybody says. When them fans are there, like whether it's a last week decider or it's a rerun or there's been a bit of argy bargy, and everybody gets riled, whether you're the home fans or away fans. You can hear them. You can hear them. I remember last year. I think it was against. Might have been last year. It was against Oxford. I think we had 8:15. I run a last, to be fair, and Dougie didn't win 8:15, and it went to a Super 8, and the fans just for 8:15, come on Lambo, come on Dougie, what I mean, we could hear him play against Paul at home. It's electric, and it's like having an extra man, and that's what it's all about. And yeah, like I say, without fans, a lot of clubs wouldn't pay. I'm very lucky at Scunthorpe, and we get paid on the button every Friday. There's no who's, there's no ours. It's there for you every week, and I respect that. And might not pay the world, mate, but I'm a businessman. 100% of something is better than 10% of the world that you're never going to get. So, you work together, and but yeah, no, fans are just that very hard, mate. You said you hit on social media there. When you're going good, you bounce from one meeting to the next. You're doing this, you're doing that. It's great. As soon as you have a bad meeting or you hit a little bit of bad form, he's he's that, he's rubbish. Get rid of him. Your true fans are there for you, mate. Whether you've scored 2 or whether you've scored 12, and any normal human being knows that. It's like there's your mates and there's your best mates. And it is what it is. But like I say, I don't think all these trolls on social media think we read or see half of it. But when you're the one in the limelight or the spotlight, whichever way you want to call it, we all have notifications. We all have the same apps. But mate, if you want to call me a tosser, at least come and say it to my face. That's the way I look at it. Simple as that. I've always said, if anyone can do better, they can have my bike. We'll have a race. You beat me, you can have the job. It's not rocket science, mate. Because if Speedway was easy, everybody would do it. Like football, if everyone could be a Messi, Ronaldo, everyone would do it.
You touch on Ryan Douglas there. A little bit of a change to the Scunny team this year with obviously no Ryan Douglas. Does it fill you with confidence? Does it go through the team when you've got a number one like that who you know is guaranteed pretty much double figures every time he comes out onto the track?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, from a team manager's point of view, it must be great, and obviously, if you fall behind, we'll just chuck Dougie in. It's no problem. But yeah, I mean, listen, mate, no two ways about it. Dougie was probably the best rider in the league last year. Whether that's fact or not, I don't know. But I mean, he was class, pure class. He's certainly going in the right direction. That if he continues the way he's going, good luck to the lad. He's a very quiet, modest young man, very polite, not the best team rider in the world, and he'll tell you that himself. But mate, he's a points machine, and I hope it works out for him this year. And like I say, the way he's going, another 3, 4, 5 years, he'll be in the Grand Prix, and fair play, good luck to him. I hope it works out for him, but you got to, there's, like I say, there's two sides to every coin. This year we haven't got an out and out number one. In Kyle, we've got an out and out number one trier, but with all due respect, Kyle's probably not going to score you double figures every week. However, the way I look at it and Rob looks at it, we've got Jake Allen, we've got Tofty, who have been former number ones. So effectively, Scunny have got 3 potential number ones. And to be honest, the goals I've set myself this year, there's no reason why I can't get to number one this year. I carry on and do what I did last year and maybe a bit more. It's possible. When you start last year on a 5-point average and Dougie's starting on a 9, you've got no chance, But this year I'm starting on a 6 and Kyle's on a 7 something. I've got every chance. So I think there'll be a good bit of friendly competitiveness within the team because everybody's going to be pushing Kyle. Everybody's going to be chasing Kyle for that spot. But as long as we all work as a team and we all do a job, we'll be up there.
And you touch on Kyle there. You were announced last night as riding in his testimonial. Is it important as a rider for you to, first of all, be a part of that and acknowledge like Kyle as well, but also to get the track time at the start of the season to dial back in after 6 months off?
Of course, mate. I've known Kyle since he sort of started. I've always had a laugh with Kyle, always had a joke, always got on well with his father. He's always got on well with my father and family, and his dad actually is my engine tuner now. And he asked me, I said, yeah, mate, of course I will, not a problem, Somebody like me, I'm doing it for a few different reasons, You just touched on track time there, but first of all and foremost, I'm doing it to support Kyle because it's his meeting. I've had a testimonial. I know how much hard work and effort and everything goes into one of them. And people think running a speedo meeting's easy, and believe me, it's not, And it's very hard, especially him doing it at the start of the year, because you've got to look after yourself for your whole season. But obviously, he needs it sponsoring to cover all his costs for that season. But I mean, what a lineup he's going to have. He's got the 7 Sheffield boys, which personally I think Sheffield look unbelievable on paper this year. To try and retain that league title, you got the Holder boys and Woofy, and then you got chuck Freddie Lindgren in there. You've got some, you've got 3 of the world's top 10 in there already, haven't you? So yeah. No, and obviously, it's a little bit of, you don't really get a lot of money for testimonials and that. It's not about that, it's about the track time, and anybody can look fast on their own, but stick 3 others at the side here when you've not had that for a long time. It's different. So yeah, and Sheffield's a track I like and enjoy, and obviously not having a Premier top league spot either. Fucking go and just get a few scalps. Already it will start to make a few ears prick up.
We touched on at the start, you're a former Birmingham rider. The last time that Birmingham were in the top league, you were there, and the club sort of folded halfway through. They've kind of taken that jump up again this season. Do you think it's brave, or do you think they're in a lot more of a stable place now with everything?
Well, I don't know how big Nigel Tolley's bank balance is, but I think it's a brave, bold move. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it, I just don't get it. It's great that you've got a bloke like Nigel wanting to continue the sport, and the last thing we need or want is another club closing. He's got Lawrence behind him, who is just, speedway through and through. You've got to respect that. But yeah, they got I'd say, an indifferent team. They've got an indifferent team, let's say. But, looking at crowds there last year, taking that step up, your number one last year is, well, I don't know, mate. It's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough. But again, that's where everybody needs to, they need to go. They need to support it. You see on, again, social media, what they're doing to the track. They're trying to, just iron them few creases out. Track looks good, fresh coat of paint, tidy the place up. Come on, guys, just, go have a watch, go have a look, go support it, If you don't enjoy it, at least say you've been, But tough, because you got, you're in the Midlands, you got West Brom, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Aston Villa. They all got a blooming football.
Yeah.
They're only watching 22 blokes kick a blooming bag of air around. We're there risking our lives, and it's cheaper. It's more of an adrenaline rush. So, yeah, I really hope it works for me. I really do, because I fear maybe it'd be the last one. Maybe, who knows? But yeah, like I say, they've got some good boys in the team. Like I say, it's going to be indifferent. A few and tried over here and that, but yeah, they've got every chance, aren't they? Same as everyone else.
Scunthorpe last season were kind of equals with Poole, if you like. They were the team that come closest to causing the upset. You kind of raced Wimborne Road as well as they raced the Eddie Wright Raceway. And you went there in the playoffs and kind of took a draw away from it and then went back home. And was it just any other team you'd have steamrolled at home? It was just Poole would as dialed in as you there.
Oh, mate, I don't know. It's such a strange one, dude. It's, you had Lawson, number one. I think Lawson's underrated. He's good for 10, mate, home or away, whether he tries or not, to be fair. He's a trapper. He's more a trapper than anything, but God, that boy can trap. Them Cook boys, they're getting better every week. But again, we used them both when we had injuries. And I did say to Rob, this could bite you in the butt a bit later on in the season. Paul always seemed to just, I don't know how they do it, mate. They just always seem to put such a good team together. But I don't know. I remember we tonked them by about 22 one year. The track was so grippy. Last year, I think Rob had something on and the shale didn't quite take to the water or something happened. And it was just one of them. In the playoffs, like you say, we'd done the hard work away. But I remember Jake blew an engine in Heat 3. I was his best engine. Me and him were on a 5-1 and it became a 3-all. I don't know. Something else happened to someone. Me and I think it was Ben. Yeah, Ben. We had a clash on turn 3 and I got excluded for it. I'm not one to jump off my bike. And if he had knocked me off, I'd have probably gone and I'd have said something to him. But it was a 50-50 call, mate, I couldn't honestly tell you. I don't ever jump off my bike. You put me in the fence, fair enough. I'll hang on for as long as I can. But we didn't have a lot of luck with us that night, mate. And that's why obviously we got the cup final, and that was it. I think obviously we got the first leg, and that was crucial, really, because although we had a 4-point lead, it's only one race. But I think we just all felt we had the upper hand because we knew we could get a pole and we could do this and do that. But I mean, when we got the pole, mate, listen, I never thought all the way there we were going to be racing, because until we got 15 minutes on the track, the window wipers didn't stop. We turned up at pool and the sun come out, and it was just, I don't know, mate. It was just, I don't know. It was like the gold rainbow that it was meant to be. I don't know, but at the end of the day, we all put a shift in. We got the draw on the night, I think. Did we? Did we get a draw on the night? I think. I don't even remember, mate. All I know is it was won by Heat 15. I didn't want Heat 15. I know I had a good night, 4 wins. I did say I don't want Heat 15 to Dave Pete, but he said, "Look, mate, just go finish it off." And all I was bothered about then, mate, was just lifting the trophy and
Yeah.
that, and it was an unbelievable night. But yeah, obviously that was a big honour for me personally, being captain, lifting the trophy and everything. But I've said this before, I've never won a league title, mate, and that is, if that was a sort of the starter, as you want to call it, before the main course, then God, I can't wait for my main course. I want to lift that league title this year, believe me, and I think we've got a good chance.
You say you've never won the league title. You were part of on the evening in 2022 when Bellevue won it at Sheffield, and I feel like you kind of go under the radar a little bit with that. Like you played your part as well as everyone, but it's everyone always talks about the other Lambert that was in the meeting.
Mate, it was one of them. It was an honour to be asked. All the options Lemon had. Obviously, he picked me, which was cool and nice, and all the fans. Like, I remember I had to borrow a van because the season was kind of done, and a few of the drinkers were all in the pub just before, on the side of the road where you turn like left into the back way into the stadium. And, like, nearly come and dragged me out of my van. They spotted me going round to go up and do the U-turn. Dragged me out of the van, the sombrero on, and the pictures and all that. It's unbelievable, mate. It was so cool. 8:20. Quick. It was unbelievable, but it's not got that same feeling. It's not that same feeling because obviously you're just a guest for the night. You feel a little bit like spare shirt in the wardrobe just for that one night. As nice as it is to be asked and that. But at the end of the day, them other boys that were there, they'd done all the hard work and the graft all season and that, and you got to respect that. But yeah, it was a bit of a goosebump night, and just again makes you think, oh, what if, and I think it makes you hungrier for it.
And just touching away from Speedway for a bit, I know a couple of weeks ago you had Jason Doyle come over for your lad and got to give your lad the opportunity to meet a hero. What was that like for you as a dad to be able to do that for your lad?
No, Reese came and did a bit of work on my bikes, and he was actually going to meet Doyley that day. And Doyley had spoke to me last year, and I've always got on real well with Doyley. And he said, "Yeah, we'll sort something out in January. We'll have a Chinese and that." And we've just been in touch with Facebook and Instagram and all that. And I said to Reese, "We'll get him." Yeah, I said to him, "Just get if Doyley wants to come here." So it just saved Doyley some travelling, and he come and he had dinner with me and Kai and Reese, and just had a laugh. And to be honest, mate, my lad, he's kind of met them all before. It's a bit much for him to take it all in, but I'll be honest. Doyley's my absolute hero. I think I was probably more excited than Kai, but I mean, on track, he's an absolute animal. There's no two ways about it. But he's just like anyone, mate. He's just a normal human being, a nice, genuine bloke off track, and I just had a laugh, had a chat, and nothing's a problem with the guy. And he's a bit like me, really. He respects all his sponsors and likes this and likes that, and it's just cool, But to say ex-world champion's been to my house and that, and bless him, he give me a coat. We're going to few GPs this year. Give me a coat, so I wear that with pride when we go and support him and to see how we go. But yeah, it's a big honour, to be fair, and cool. And I bought him a Chinese.
And just finally, we'll touch on this season coming up now. You've obviously got Scunny, and the points limit's gone down, but then it'll slowly start to increase with the new rule, which is a bit confusing. But what do you think of the teams that have been built and the methods that people have gone down? So as you say, people have gone for 2-point reserves mostly, which is the same as Scunny with Nathan and Luke. What are your thoughts on the Championship League as a whole this year?
Everybody says they're watering the product down, right? But this is what I'm saying. Like, personally, it's not a watered down product as such. It's just a lower points limit. Riders increase their averages. Riders have bad years and their average decreases. But you've got to give the guys a chance at the end of the day, because if they're going in the National League and they're scoring points, they're doing this, they're doing that, they've got to be given that chance to step up. So I don't really think it's a thing of like a watered down thing. It's just giving the youngsters an opportunity, and I really, really hope some of them come smashing it through, and they get a chance in the top league because I've been there at the end of the day. You know, I've been there, and any rider who says they haven't, we all started as them. And if you don't get them opportunities, you're never going to progress. To be the best, you've got to race the best. To be the best, you've got to beat the best. But if it's it's how you come last. You know, if you're coming last by half a lap, that ain't no good for you. It's no good for your confidence. So many riders did it last year. It just absolutely, I won't name names, but absolutely trashed 2 or 3 riders' confidence. And when managers have a strong reserve and let's say a weak reserve, they get all the weak reserve gets all the outside gates. The rides get swapped. It's not fun, you know. It can't be fun for them. They're just that they are literally there to make the numbers up. This year, I think with all the teams having like the lower average riders at reserve, they're all on a level playing field, and I think it will show the best from the best. Speedway is all about confidence. You have a good first ride, you get confidence behind you. You can go on and push on and kick on for the night and have a great night. But then on the flip side of it, you know, I've learnt this. When you're in that top 5, if you have a bad first ride, okay, no worries. I can get 9 points from the next 3 and I still get you 15. It's how you develop it and mentally approach it. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be weaker at the bottom, but there's no point trying to be a speedway rider if you're never going to get them opportunities. So I think it's a good thing. And again, British Speedway, like we've said, that's why they should do the same thing in the top league, as such up to a certain average or whatever and nationality. So yeah, I think there's some good teams out there. There's a few mediocre teams, but you know, I think you're going to have 6 or 7 teams fighting for them top 4 spots. Some teams on paper perhaps don't look this and that, but you know, I rate them perhaps more than other teams. Obviously, Redcar just been dealt a blow with obviously Thomas out. Obviously, they've got a decent replacement in Jonas. But with the averages going up, I mean, if you've built a good enough team at the start of the season, everybody's average should increase anyway. So you're not going to be able to make changes with that extra half a point. And I think by the time you get, let's say, we won't name a team, but we'll just say a team, if they want to do a big push and go break their bank as such to go sign a big hitter instead of someone else because they've got them 2 extra points. I think the way the fixtures are, mate, it's going to be too late. It's going to be too little, too late. So I think it's going to. There's big hoo-ha in there about it on Facebook, seeing it all. Yeah, it's a bit weird. It's a bit different, but if at the end of the day, if you got your team right from the start, everyone's average will have increased anyway. So come the end of the season, everybody should be around the 40, 41 point mark anyway. So that's when it was showed that, you know, the best team.
Nathan Ablett came in for Scunny partway through last season, and there was a little bit of unknown about him, and you could really see him progressing week on week, and he was leading good riders. Even if he dropped back, he was trapping and getting out there and playing the team role. Is that and I know you've now taken on, I think, the National League Scunny team manager's job as well.
Well, I got put forward for it, yeah.
Is it nice for you to play a part in that progression and work with riders like that to get them kicking on and try and play a little part in it?
Listen, Roy, I'm captain of Scunthorpe, and I'm so proud of that. Yeah, I'm more at the end of my career than at the beginning. Like I said earlier, I've been in their shoes. I've had top riders help me. You know, I was put under Topinka's wing at Kings Lynn and learnt so much from him and so much from the likes of like Kev Doolan and that. And then obviously you pick your hero sort of thing, like Doyley and that. You watch, you learn, you know, you get inspired as such. I'm not saying they do that with me, but Nathan's a young lad. He was put next to me in the pits. He was put next to, I think, Connor in the pits. Connor's quite a quiet lad. I'm not backwards in coming forwards, mate. I'll say as it is. But the thing I liked about Nathan the most was he wasn't scared to ask. instead of just having a bad ride and sitting in the corner, sitting in his chair in the corner, sulking and beating himself up about it, pull himself together, pick himself up, and he'd come and be like, mate, my bike's doing this, my bike's doing that. If I wasn't sure, I sent him to David Howe or to Dougie, So, yeah, he was underrated, to be fair, last year. He threw a lot of points away, and he knows that. But he also put himself in the position where this year I think he'll hold that position. And he'll only improve and he'll progress. And yeah, I think he's got a lot of potential in the sport, to be fair. What I say, he's got good equipment, good family behind him, good mechanics. And he's not afraid to ask, and that's like I say, we're all equal. The better my riders do in that team, the further we progress, the more meetings we get, the more money we can earn, the more trophies we can potentially win, and the better it is for the fans. And again, when you're a winning team, the fans come week in, week out, they get behind you, and you just all gel together,
And
So,
finally there, we touch on David Howe. Like, obviously, he's stepped back from having to spanner for Dougie in the championship this year, so you'll get to work with him on a captain and team manager role. Is that something you're looking forward to, and something that will benefit the younger lads in the Scunny team as well?
For sure, mate. I get on well with Dave, and ironic, I rode with him at Scunny 2009, and we have a laugh, we have a joke, and he'll laugh his head off if he hears this. Probably the worst rider I've ever ridden with. Worst team rider, mate. It was all about him, and he's honest enough to tell you that himself. But then, obviously, he's had a hell of a career. He's got a good CV behind him. He's a top mechanic. He's still helping Dougie, but I honestly think being team manager this year, he'll blossom on it, and he's so good. A rider still that's not riding now wants to be involved in the sport, not just mechanically either. And I think he knows how to get in my head. Whether that's taking the pee out of me, he knows just all the right buttons to push, or how to spur me on. And I'll give him that. And I think he's one of them that he'll just talk to the riders, and he'll be an easy guy to talk to. And that. I think he's going to do a great job. We've already spoke about different bits and bobs and like team days and this and that, and already going forward, that's things we've not always done as a club. I'm sure he will tell us what he wants and expects from us, and if there's anything we want to expect from him and all that. And I'm not just saying this because it's Scunny, but I honestly think we've got a bright future ahead this year. And not only that, like we touched on it earlier, Kyle Howarth, his father tunes my engines, Jeff. I think he does a lot of the boys. So if he's there as well, I mean, we're going to have our engine tuner there. Well, I think David Howe coming to the table puts another half a point on everyone per meeting. And if your engine tuner's there as well, you suddenly become 5 on our score and 5 off theirs. Well, it's a bigger tonking they're going to get, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, mate. And obviously, 14th of March for me personally can't come soon enough.
Well, Simon, massive thanks for taking the time out to do this with me tonight. It's one I've been really looking forward to doing. Good luck for the rest of the season coming up, and hopefully you have a good one and get a Premiership spot sooner than later.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Thank you very much. And I hope everybody enjoys the season and they'll go out and support Kyle and obviously the Ben Fund as well, because that's an important meeting. And whoever you support, make plenty of noise, get behind the boys, and hope it's successful for everyone, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you.